So Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates took place last night, and I really enjoyed the fight, to be honest. I thought it was a good fight, even other than the fifth round. I thought it was really interesting to see how Garry was able to neutralise everything that Prates had, pretty much. And it was a bit of a weird performance from Prates, to be honest. We know that in the first round he likes to look for his killer shot and then try and land it, and I think by the third round we'd established that he probably wasn't going to land that on Garry. So what he was doing in the fifth was fine, and I feel like he really should have done that earlier. Obviously, it's easier to say that when Gary's a bit more gassed in the fifth, but Prates was gassed as well. But I feel like one of the main things was that he gassed a lot earlier than Garry. By the end of the third round, Prates was breathing heavily out of his mouth. So, Gary's boxing looked way better. His offensive wrestling didn't look great until Prates was a bit more gassed. He couldn't land the takedowns, but Prates has really good takedown defense. But in the first round especially, which is Prates' killer round, he did a lot of things to neutralise him, which I thought were really impressive. So I'm going to get into those in a sec. So the first kick Ian Garry throws in the whole fight is a nice body kick that catches Prates as he's shifting off to the left. Didn't do any visible damage, but it was more to put the idea of the body kicks into Prates' head, and then, as you know, if you've seen the fight later, he starts looking for the high kicks, but he's just putting in the thought of the kicks to the midsection. Prates has low hands anyway, so he would have been able to take most of the damage from these on his arms, but I don't think Garry would mind that. He was actually probably aiming for the arms and the wrists on that left hand of Prates more than anything. It was really smart from me and Garry. But yeah, just a nice body kick here to put the thought of the kicks to the body in the mind of Prates. And then you had the high kick from Ian Garry on the same side, which was probably the smartest strike he was throwing the whole fight, to be honest, because, as you know, Prates is a southpaw. His left hand's very powerful. It's his main shot. He's always looking to set up the straight left or the hook with that left hand, and by putting the high kick out there, not only was Ian Garry doing damage to the wrist and the hand of Prates, and just making it hurt so he was less likely to throw it, he was also just keeping it busy, keeping those hands up. If you've seen a lot of Prates' knockouts, he's able to relax and keep his hands low and then look to throw that shot up. But by keeping his hands up, he was less able to set things up and throw them to try and put Garry out. So it was very, very smart of Garry to keep putting that out there for a couple of reasons. Obviously, a lot of these were blocked by Prates. I think this one partially got through, but they were never gonna put him out. But with him throwing the body kick as well, it was like, am I gonna block low for this one? Am I gonna block high? Obviously, Prates has very good Muay Thai, so he was able to block them all. But a very, very smart strike from Ian Garry. And then you had the first takedown attempt of the fight from Ian Garry. He shoots in on a single leg here, and he didn't get it. But it's another thing, again, that was put into the mind of Prates that, okay, I need to keep my hands low because a takedown might come. I need to keep my hands low because a body kick might come. And then a high kick comes, and he's like, shit, okay, hands up now. So it was very, very smart from Ian Garry. Even though with most of these takedowns after the first one, he probably knew he wasn't going to get them. It was just putting it out there. And I did say in the fight breakdown, if any of you guys watched that as well, that I did for this fight, that Garry should put that out there, that he's shooting in for single legs and looking for takedowns. But this one, as I say, wasn't secured. He did manage to get some off in the third round, I think. But yeah, this also tells us a little bit about where Ian Garry's wrestling offense is. It could just be that Prates has got very good wrestling defense, which he does. He's got long arms, which help as well, just to sort of push down that head and keep balance with long legs as well. But yeah, Ian Garry's probably not going to be able to use his wrestling offense to do much at the top of the welterweight division. There's a few good grapplers as well, like Sean Brady and stuff. Obviously, Ian Garry, if he fought Sean Brady, he wouldn't be shooting for takedowns, but it tells a little bit where his wrestling offense is. If he was securing takedowns from the first round, I'd be thinking, okay, this guy could trouble some of the better strikers in the division with his wrestling. But no, I think it's still pretty average. It worked against MVP, but a lot of people's wrestling would work against MVP as well. So yeah, but still nonetheless smart from Garry. A lot of the things he did in the first round were like set the foundations for the future rounds, and obviously Prates was thinking about the takedowns, the body kicks, the high kicks, not just in the first but in the later rounds as well. So yeah, a very well fought round from Garry. But yeah, fantastic performance from Ian Garry. Only really got troubled in the fifth, but I think Prates was way too gassed in the fifth to throw enough ground and pound that he needed to get Garry out of there and get the ref to step in. So I think other than a minute at the end of the fight, Ian Garry was always in control and his kickboxing looked excellent. So yeah, all credit to him. I'll speak in another video about what I think should be next for them and maybe some other fights on the card as well. But yeah, well done to Ian Garry.